story about a man named Felix, straight out of the old school, here to reveal the facts.
Yo, hold up, what's the 411 on this cat? He's a cop watcher, a truth teller, laying it all bare, shining a light on injustice, showing he just don't care about their intimidation tactics, that twisted up lies. He's got a camera in their face, watching with his own eyes. Going down the street in my hoopty, feeling the bass, see them blue and reds flashing, all up in my space. Another traffic stop, another power trap display. License and registration is all they ever say, but I know my rights, see I ain't no fool. They wanna play games, but I'm keeping my cool. I don't answer questions, that's my opening line. Got them frustrated, messing with their whole design. They pull me over, flashing lights so bright, asking dumb questions, trying to start a fight. Are you a sovereign citizen with a smirk and a sneer? Fuck you, I'm not a cop, is all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked copper, for goodness sake. This is for the people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down. Talk about officer safety, a tired old excuse for violating liberties and all kinds of abuse. They think that badge gives them a right to be the king, but we the people pay the salary and we're the ones who sing the song of freedom, the anthem of the just, exposing that corruption in the system we don't trust. From illegal searches to tyrannical demands, I stand my ground firmly with the law in my hand. They pull me over, flashing lights so bright, asking dumb questions, trying to start a fight. Are you a sovereign citizen with a smirk and a sneer? Fuck you, I'm not a cop, is all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked copper, for goodness sake. This is for the people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down. They talk of lies, this ain't no game. Know your amendments, speak their name. The first, the fourth, the fifth, that's a trifecta. Protects you from the goons who wanna disrespect you. They might have the weapons, they might have the crew, but knowledge is power, me and you, we know it's true. So next time you see him with that arrogant swagger, remember John Felix, the lyrical dagger. Peace to the auditors, the watchers in the street, keeping the pressure on, can't be beat. Fuck you, I'm not a cop, it's all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked copper, for goodness sake. They talk of people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down. They pull me over, flashing lights so bright, asking dumb questions, trying to start a fight. Are you a sovereign citizen with a smirk and a sneer? Fuck you, I'm not a cop, is all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked copper, for goodness sake. This is for the people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down.
When you're reading the poster 7, what a lot of people make a mistake, that's what it's called, poster 7. If you look up USPS poster 7, you can actually find the most current. Theirs is actually out of date by over 10 years, but just make sure you look at where the commas are placed. That's the big key thing that people mess up on. Look at where the
commas save lives, everybody. Commas save lives, because if you say, "Let's eat, Grandma," someone's going to eat your grandma. But if you say, "Let's eat, comma, Grandma," now you're just having dinner. See, commas are important. And just to prove that, we'll bring Lana in.
Oh, what up, everybody?
You see how commas save lives?
Jeez. It does. Commas do save lives. I've been
Otherwise,
saying
we'd be eating Grandma.
All right. I've been saying
All right.
that for 4 years.
Welcome, the J-Town Press. Lana is here, everybody. A lot of people excited for you to be here, Lana. And thank you so much for joining me.
Grab your popcorn.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing really good today. Here, I'll take off the glasses here. So
Everybody hear us okay? Let us know, please. You sound good to me.
I can hear you crystal clear.
Man, where do we start? We've known each other for a good 5 years now.
Yeah, well, I started in May 31st of 2022 was my official launch of May 31st of 2022. So it's been almost.
Seems like you've been doing it longer.
No, it took off so fast. So I actually have shared a couple times because I did a very early interview with American Amy, and I've shared it a couple times. So everybody can see where I was, where I was coming from. And I only had I think 2,000 subscribers at the time. I was very small at the time. I never ever in my wildest dreams would have thought that, my channel would blow up the way it did. So,
I mean, you're out there,
I'm
man.
absolutely. And I'm blessed to have everybody out there who supports me, who shown me some love. I can't say it enough how much I appreciate it. I could not do it without you guys. So,
Of course, they're the blood of the operation.
absolutely.
Otherwise, we'd be just like 20 years ago, yelling at ourselves in our own heads. Right?
That's amen. That's exactly right. So,
or you and I. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just to say, or be yelling at the person next to you on the bar stool next to you. So.
Or having my friends' parents tell me I'm a conspiracy theorist, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera. That's not true. Blah blah blah.
Right. Absolutely.
When did we meet each other, you think, for the first time?
I'm trying to remember. I know there was a big event that Mike had down in Titusville, and I met a lot of people. I met Crispy and Rogue and Jeff Gray, and I don't remember if you were there. I know Acura was there. Gio was there.
I don't think I was at that one, but I did go to Titusville once.
Yeah, and it was Mike had one of his fishing trips, his free fishing weekends, and I only had 2,000 subs or something like that. It was very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember showing up. I want to say it was the end of 2022, perhaps, because it was still maybe right after summer, and I met a lot of people. But I actually came down to meet you. Remember we had dinner.
Oh yeah,
lunch or something like that.
Yeah. We went to that sports bar and had lunch and stuff, and then we went to the pool tournament. I remember that.
Yep.
That was fun as hell.
Shot some pool. I showed you how to shoot pool, and
Yeah, I remember that. I got so much better after that day.
I'm telling you,
So you and I have a kind of a common fight, and
absolutely.
Before we get to that, where are you from originally?
So I'm kind of a mutt. I say it in my videos, but it's honest. I've kind of moved around a little bit, but mostly
where were you
in
born?
the South. I was born in Atlanta. So I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. And very, very young, I moved out to New Orleans. So I lived most of my my youth in New Orleans.
You actually pronounce New Orleans right. I hate when people say New Orleans.
Are they? Yeah. Well, it's all. I always chuckle because a lot of people when we're talking, especially after a couple of drinks or whatever, you're hanging out with friends. Is it New Orleans? New Orleans. Or some some variation. It kind of.
I think New Orleans came from because they drink so much and they start slurring New Orleans.
It is, and a lot of people want to sit there and take that same New Orleans. When they actually see it spelled out I think they spell it Nawlins, Nolans. But they want to sit there and say it with that same enunciation, and so you got to say it a little bit slower. We're in the South, it's New Orleans.
Now, do you come from a military family?
No, I have a lot of people, a lot of relatives that were in the military. So I'd say probably most of the people in my family have been in some branch of the service for as far back as I can remember.
What made you want to join the military, and especially the Air Force?
When I first joined the Air Force, I told my recruiter, which I know everybody's going to say the recruiters lie, but and they do. I wanted to get my degree and I wanted to travel. So and I got stuck in southern New Mexico. So I mean, that's
where you got to travel to 2 states over.
Yeah, and I still remember it this day. I was in tech school, and which is basically where we learn our job. I was in supply, so. We were there at Lackland for basic training, and supply literally was just up the road, literally up the road. I think maybe a half a mile up the road is where I moved to. So everybody else is going to the Azores and, Germany and all these places. And I'm sitting there showing everybody, I'm like, what's NM? What country what country is NM? And everybody, they start laughing, and I'm just like, what country? I'm thinking in my head New Zealand and all these, and everybody, they start laughing. That's New Mexico. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, it ain't New Mexico. And then sure enough.
Lord have mercy. Yeah. How many years in the Air Force?
I was 3 years. So right at 3 years. So and
how many fighter jets did you fly?
All of them. No, just joking.
Dude, that probably would be the most fun thing in the world, even though it'd be scary.
No, I wasn't a pilot, but I did see lots of planes, and they are very loud.
I'm sure.
Those little bitty jets just produce a lot of sound. So,
And then you've been in the same job for decades and decades, and you're able to retire now if you wanted to. For all the people that say we don't have a job, so you've had the same job for decades. You've never had
Correct.
any issues.
Nope.
None of your people have tried to get you fired. No.
Yeah, they have actually called my job. Funny enough, I actually watched your live stream with Jeff, and I remember something similar, like them calling and trying to get him fired. They've done it to me too, but unsuccessful, unfortunately for y'all. Any of the trolls that try to get me fired.
Yeah, but your bosses understand what you're doing, and they're not stupid, right?
Oh, right, absolutely. They know, that they basically as long as I show up to work every day. I mean, that's ultimately what they care about. I mean, as long as I'm doing the job,
that should be the bottom line,
right? So as long as I show up to work the next day, and they don't, that's what they care about. I do my job well, so or at least I think so.
what a lot of people don't know about you is which I can't believe. I don't know how you do it. You go out all the time. You have a full-time job. You said, do you mind if I bring up your family situation and who you're taking care of?
Yeah, just basically. Yeah. I mean, I'll say it. I mean,
you also take care of your mom.
Yeah, I take care of my mother. She actually just beat cancer. She was
Okay.
able to ring the bell. Yep, she was able to ring the bell. She had some real nasty stuff. It actually killed my aunt. The same stuff that she got, but she was actually able to ring the bell. So she's been a big supporter of mine. She understands why I do it. She understands freedom. I mean, my paternal grandfather is actually where I got my love, my patriotism.
Tell us what you mean by that. Tell us because I always wonder how people, because so many Americans are clueless to the Constitution that people like us who actually read it and understand it and live by it, we sound like foreigners to them.
Well, I believe that I'm a firm believer. Like it starts at the home. It starts with your parents. I mean, if you don't like what somebody's doing, look at the parents. How were they raised? I'm
Your
a
parents were
generation.
constitutionalists?
Absolutely, they are. They love our country. They love what it stands for. My parents educated. Like for example, like when my mother and I used to travel, and my family used to travel. One of the first things that we would do is actually, funny enough, we'd head to like the cemeteries, like the local cities, because you could see exactly who lived there, and you could see the history. After that, we would go actually see the historical sites. And you'd see these same people that you're looking at in the at the gravestones. You're seeing their names on the placards or whatever towns, little towns, big towns, whatever it is. So my mother actually gave me a lot of my love for history, and you learned. We went to a lot of battlefields, and you learned like what these people went through in order to secure freedoms. She I don't want to say she made me, but she introduced me to like the Constitution and different authors, back when the turn of the century. I mean, I'm not sorry, the founding of our country, excuse me, and taught me why. I mean, that's the big question: is why? Why did these people go to war? Why did these people fight for freedom? Like, what was going on during that time? It's kind of the same similarities from what I've seen personally that are going on today. I mean, they had redcoats. The redcoats were telling them how they could live their lives, how they could sit there and do the things that they do every day. I mean, every facet of their life, the British were trying to control. So they got sick of it, and they ended up saying, you know what, screw it. We're gonna have a revolution. I mean, everybody hears about the Boston Tea Party, but that was just scratching the surface. What happened before that? So. They start dumping tea overboard.
I hate to say, but we're almost on the edge of that again, no?
I think we're very close. I mean, you start getting this. I always advocate for peace. Obviously, I'm a Catholic, so I believe in peace. I don't like the fact of people getting violent and stuff. I think that we can always resolve things through discussion. And I think a lot of times these days, one of the biggest things that we're missing in our country is just a conversation. Right. Literally just a conversation. People could solve so many issues, but I think what's happening, and I'm gonna segue and go down a hole. If I get chatty, just pump the brakes or mute my mic. But I think what happens in this day and age, I think a lot of people, I think our government, especially technology is dumbing us down. Let's face it. That at least that's my belief. Because back in the day, you had to do a lot of things, do it manual, and these things, it's a lot of automated, so you don't know these processes. Like I talk to some of these kids these days, they don't even know how to change a tire on a vehicle. So anyway, my point is I feel like people are getting dumbed down, especially with common sense. I mean, things like sometimes I sit there and look, I'm like, common sense. Like, for example, I was talking a little earlier about I had gotten a CAD report from when Zach and I, Liberty Troll, we went out and did some audits together, and we were zooming in on just whatever we could see, and people would go to the ATMs and they'd be like, doing their thing at the ATMs, and I would scream out, "Got it!" like this. People would flip out because it's like, what am I going to do with think about it. What am I going to do with your pin? If my pin's 1, 2, 3, 4, I need the card, I need the chip, I need your name, I need all this information to do anything. So it's silly to think that
they jump to conclusions because they're uncomfortable. It's because they're uncomfortable. Right. So they think of other stuff. They can't just say I'm uncomfortable. They have to think, you're going to do this, and what are you going to do with that information?
Absolutely. And to me, it's like, I'm trying to educate people so we can pull Americans back and start using our noodles. And the government, I know, and other maybe other facets. I mean, I don't want to get too conspiracy theory, but there's a lot of people who are trying to dumb down the American people, because if they give you like in Roman times, they had the Colosseum and the gladiators. Now they're giving you the NFL and Kim Kardashian and the Grammys and all this other stuff. It's like, hey, look over here. Don't pay attention to our government. But our founding fathers have set up such a beautiful system to sit there and actually watch our government. It's your job to participate. They have set this government up to be involved because power corrupts. Our founding fathers knew this. They had just fought a war. So they wanted to sit there and open up the doors for people to be involved with their governments. And I get that we cannot all do things. We've got kids and jobs and, family members that take it. I know. Trust me, I'm living it. I just talked about it. But you have to sit there and slice out just a little bit of time and educate yourself about what's going down at your city councils, your school boards, and everything. You have to get involved, because right now, I believe I've seen some things that we may be in a Republican collapse. That's my personal opinion. I kind of see it kind of going down. You look at history, we're, 250 years, look at how long Rome was around. Civilizations don't last that long. So we have to keep fighting. If we stay complacent, we're going to lose it. And I can't remember the quote right now. I'm having a brain fart. But I think we actually mentioned it on the phone.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
I think it was Jefferson or one of the founding fathers came out of a state house and they asked, well, what kind of government did you give us? And he said, a republic, if you can keep it.
Right.
Is that what you were going to say?
That's exactly what I was going to say. And I'm actually looking at a comment. It says, Lana, can you put your pin in the chat? I don't need to say it. I keep saying it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my pin. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of like, remember that movie Spaceballs? And they're looking at the case and it's like, what's the number?
1, 2, 2. And by the time they get to 5, they're like, he lifts his helmet and he says, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Right. So I'm kind of old school. I'm sure if you've watched my videos, you've seen enough of the antics that I put, the clips and stuff like that. So
Spaceballs 2 is coming out soon, by the way.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I was such an immature teenager. We watched that over and over. The catchphrases in the 5th grade nonstop.
Yes.
Keep firing, assholes.
We went from suck to blow.
or where they're in the desert with the comb the desert.
Yes.
And the one guy had a hair pick, and he goes, "We
ain't found shit." That is such a good movie.
That's great. So let me say, you especially, like auditors don't understand, and the haters don't understand. They say this is get a real job. This isn't real work. Let me say something here. Lana works a full-time job. She takes care of her mother. She goes out constantly auditing. Just that alone is a job in and of itself.
And I try to put out at least 2 videos a week, and I'm on Facebook, X, all of them now. And I'm putting
then she goes out, accumulates all the footage. Then she comes home and she sits down, and this is the worst part for me. I almost refuse to do it. The editing alone, she edits. First of all, she's patient. If I make a video, I want to get home and publish it. She takes it all, brings it in, remembers what it was, gets the body cam footage. One time she got like 4 hours of body cam footage, deciphers all that, overlays that into her video, lines it up with the time and the moment, and then switches back and forth the audio. And then she publishes it. It has to make all the thumbnails. The amount of work you can accomplish by yourself is, I just don't comprehend it. I feel like I even asked you on the phone, I go, do you do lines or what? How the hell do you keep up? How do you do all that work?
I only sleep a few hours a night. So a lot of times I'll wake up at the wee hours of the morning. Like if I so happen to like wake up and I'm looking around, I jump on the computer. If I don't, nothing gets done. So,
how can you do that much stuff in one day?
It's time management. Time management. I'm going to say it. Time. You have to sit there and you have to, and organization. And I can thank my mother for that. She was a just phenomenal organizer. She had to be. And
you must be to be able to do all that and to sit on the video and to wait and to overlap and to do all that, switch it. I'm watching these videos. I go, how does this woman do this? How does she keep how?
Right. And my editing's gotten a lot better, obviously, in 4 years. So I'm actually do some throwbacks from time to time because I look at some of these videos and I love the video so much. I'm like, man, that's a really good video. And because I keep everything I keep, every stitch of video, I have stacks. I have stacks of hard drives and stuff like that. That's just a couple of them. I have stacks of hard drives. These Lacy hard drives, I think they're like 5 terabytes a piece.
Oh my goodness.
I have every stitch of it, and I sit there and label everything, as best I can. So that way, what happens is I go back and do these throwbacks. I'll sit there and go back and take all the body cams and overlay everything, and try to make it better.
But that is so tedious. That work is so tedious.
It is.
You must like doing it.
You remember that? Remember that Pasco County, that Atlanta Lakes that we did?
That's what I wanted to get into.
That was one of the biggest edits. I had 3 videos I had to do it because I want to say like if you like all of them are like 3 hours or so. I forget what it was. It was something insane.
That's the one I'm talking about where you went and got the body. They arrested a guy there. And on the way to the police station, what?
I want to say it was closer to, like when you were saying, I think it was closer to 8 hours of body cams because it was like
when you sent it to me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, and I just put that in my archive, and that was it. I never looked at it again. I can't do it. So that day, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and I watched through every bit of it because you don't know literally you don't know what you're gonna find.
And what you found was some guy assaulted Blue Steel, who was there that day. He gets arrested. He's in the car. You get the body cam footage. Now we're watching the body cam footage, and they're on their way to the Land O'Lakes jail. And all of a sudden, the cop gets a phone call, and he puts the phone down. And he goes, I'm taking you back to the DMV. Turns around, gets unarrested, and dropped off.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
There's no way they would have done that with you, John.
Oh, my God. They're ready to arrest me for nothing.
Yeah.
So that same day, what started all that was we were outside just recording, and some girl comes out with her baby. Yeah. She goes, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "We're just activists. We're just recording."
And she called you. I think she called you a racial slur, right?
She called me the N-word like 20 times, and she called me the N-word. She called me the N-word in front of a black cop. And then they want to get me for disorderly or what the hell? Like, what is going on here?
And the funny thing, even funnier, is you're outside. So how can you be disorderly outside at like whatever time it was? It was in the afternoon, I think it was. It was like early afternoon or something.
They also had trespassed me, and I wasn't even allowed inside, so I couldn't go inside. I was only allowed to be outside.
Right.
So you guys went inside. And they're trying to make you sit down. And you go, "I'm not a dog. Quit telling me to sit down." The same thing they did to me. Same thing they did to me at their other, because there's 5 locations in Pasco County where I live.
Right.
And they tried to do the same thing to me. And at the other one, saying it was a fire hazard for me to be standing. Well, what if your back hurts? What if you don't want to sit down? What if your ass is sore? Like the control they try to put over you is ridiculous.
And I'm hoping
Go ahead.
I'm hoping little Mikey can actually, and I mean little. I hope little Mikey can actually learn that that he's not a legislator. He got elected to the wrong position if he wants to sit there and legislate people's conduct.
Right. So when she's saying little Mike, she's talking about Mike Fasano. He's the elected tax collector for Pasco County, Florida, and then he has his underling Timothy Daniel Couette, and those two together, they think they can do whatever they want. And there's an ordinance passed in this county called 66159, where they pretty much say any sign that they feel like putting on the wall, whether it's no black people, no red shirts, no crosses, no hats, anything they write on a sign, they can trespass you over.
You've got to sit down, all that stuff.
Or you got to sit down, or whatever they come up with in their little tiny low IQ brains. So let's get into. I was trespassed twice. I lost my first one. Well, I didn't lose because in the 66159, the very last section says this can't be used to stifle people's constitutional rights. So then I had to beg. Yeah. So then I had to beg the magistrate to say, even though I'm kicked out, this section says I can still go exercise my rights.
Right.
Which is all I was doing to begin with, which is what I was trespassed for doing to begin with. So he goes, okay, you could exercise your rights outside, not inside the lobby. Like that was his stipulation.
Right.
But you actually went to a different tax collector in Dade City, and the sheriffs didn't show up that time. It was the Dade City Police. Tell us that story, please.
Excuse me. So I went in there, and it was a wild video. I mean, excuse me. When I got in there, they started flipping out. I think I walked to the end of the room or something, and as I was walking back, I believe I'm just vaguely, they tried giving me the policy or something, and I kind of blew her off, I guess, sort of.
You kept saying, "That's go okay, thank you, okay, thank you," and then she got like up in your face.
Yeah, and then I sat down, and they shut down service. So that's little Mikey's go-to move is he likes to sit there to shut down the DMV.
They stop working and blame you, and then the people in there turn into heckler's veto.
Right, because I'm exercising my civil rights, and they shut down service. Somehow they try to blame me, like I'm creating the disturbance because I'm exercising civil rights. Make that make sense. But anyway, people were yelling and screaming. I actually, in that Dade City one, I thought somebody was going to get physical with me because of some of the things that they were saying. That's not the only time that I felt kind of nervous, exercising rights, thinking that I'm going to, that somebody's going to get violent because of the actions of little Mikey. But because that other girl there in what was it, Port Richey?
I don't know if I went to that one.
I did. That was when I had the lady that got up in my face. Actually, my camera was here, and she put her face up into my camera. I'm sure you've seen the thumbnail. I've used her as my thumbnail.
And then you went up high like this to show how close she was.
Right. I kind of went like this. I just kind of held my hand up like this.
Yeah, there was like that much daylight between you guys. Like if that's anywhere else, and it wasn't some government parasite, you would elbow somebody right in the face to get them away from you.
And sometimes I don't want to do it because I'm afraid that, they're going to misconstrue it. Because if you remember when I was in Wilmington, that was actually one of the times I realized, I'm thankful that I was recording there in Wilmington. I was in the DMV, and this lady clearly grabbed hold of me, touched me, made contact. And when the cops got there, the entire audience of the DMV, everybody sitting in the lobby said, she didn't touch her. She didn't touch you. She didn't do anything. She didn't touch you. And I'm thinking, I'm glad I sat there and recorded this, because if not, you'd have 20 people sitting there lying to these cops, and there'd be nothing I could do. There's 20 of them and one of me.
They're so un-American, dude. What happened? Why do Americans, dude, after 9/11, it was like, hey, brother, we're all Americans here. We're all Americans. Ha, 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 ha. We got attacked by the outside source, which no one really believes that anymore either. But
no.
And then it's slowly digressed into this garbage that we have now, where They're like begging for their slavery. You're
Oh
in there.
yeah.
Every person in there is there. They're involuntarily. They're there because if they don't go there, guys with guns will stop them on the free country on the streets of America. And then when you go down there and disrupt that BS, they should be like, "Thank God you're here." But instead, they're like, "We need our driver's license. I need to pay more taxes."
Are like you always like to say? Are you like you always like to say your walking license?
Yeah, they would, dude. They Fraud Order Troll said if the government issued a walking license, he would go get one. Like, there's no line for these sheep at all.
Anyway. I feel sorry for them because they brainwashed. I mean, but some people, I don't know. Maybe it's like I always get it mixed up with the masochist thing, and maybe like the it's a fetish or something. They like to be dominated or something, and big brother government's more than happy to do it.
Oh, absolutely. They thrive. That's all they are is force. And the more you feed into it, the more they're going to do it. So,
and the more power you give to these government officials, guess what? The more that they can do to you.
So you never got charged or anything. You were trespassed and then you filed suit against Mike
talking
Fasano?
About Dade City?
Well, didn't you just file suit against all of Pasco County tax collector?
Well, I sued Mike Fasano for his policy, is what it was. So it's because it's an ongoing thing. It's not just one particular incident, and little Mikey gets confused. He's trying to sit there and say that because that one incident in Dade City that I sued him, or not sued him, but sued the manager. I forget her name, Lisa McGuire. And some of the Dade City cops, they're trying to sit there and use res judica, which I'm not going to get into that because it's a whole legal jargon, and
Give us the base. Give us something. Well, never mind. I'll go up. I'll show it next to you. Go ahead. Res judica.
Well, I was going to say, just type in res judica. But anyway, he's trying to sit there and say that the policymaker, him, because the buck stops at little Mikey. I mean, he's the elected official. He's the one that makes these policies. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not like it's like one incident where you have like the Dade City incident. It's one incident in time. Okay, when Mikey makes little Mikey makes a policy, it's a continuance. It's a continuing thing, and they can't just. There you go. They can't just sit there. You can read it there. The doctrine of res judica is a method of preventing injustice to the parties of a completed case, avoiding waste of judicial resources. I mean, there's a whole thing. It's real detailed, but
okay. No problem.
I mean, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to sit there and say that him as the policymaker is the same as some random manager at one of the tax offices. I can go into detail. It's just a bunch of legal
stuff. Are you suing them in their individual capacity? Or are you suing the city how does that work?
So I'm suing Mikey. So I'm suing him as the tax collector because he is the. Let me get it pulled up here. So I'm. Let's see. So if I'm actually. Yeah,
so 66159 is a trespassing statute. I think in Pasco County, Florida, where I live. In that statute, they or ordinance, they wrote that any sign they put up is legal and you have to abide it or else they could trespass you. So they decided, even though there's case law, Smith v. Cummings, all the case laws we all know, we all hear repeated over and over that says we can record Brandsburg v. Hayes anywhere the public's allowed to be, the press is allowed to be, and Smith v. Cummings, we're allowed to record government employees in the course of their duties. So while we're in a public lobby, Brandsburg v. Hayes. While we're recording the government employees, Smith v. Cummings. I submitted this all to them before J-Town even came to Pasco. They just laughed in my face. Basically, they want to force us to sue. And she finally actually sued them. Go on.
Well, and a lot of times these government officials, they're using Sheets v. Punta Gorda, which is a whole different topic. I mean, because they completely misconstrue things. They completely take Sheets v. Punta Gorda completely out. And I've explained it. If you watch my video, my last one with little Mikey, when I explained my reply brief, I go into it a little bit more. If you watch that video, I explain it. I read my reply brief only because it's public. You can pull it off of Pacer. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's public information that the reply brief when I file it. So I read it and I don't try to sit there and go too far because I am in the middle of litigation with them right now. I go over the reply brief, but they misconstrue Sheets v. Punta Gorda. Another thing that they keep doing, and the district court or the district level court is doing too, is they keep throwing the forum doctrine in there. And I've said this plenty of times in video, like when I'm or anybody is video recording, the act of video recording is non-expressive. I mean, I don't know why people think like me talking is expressive. Me taking a megaphone on a public sidewalk and speaking or preaching or, whatever, that's expressive. When I paint a painting, that's expressive, right? But the act of video recording, capturing that video is non-expressive. So me sitting inside of a tax collector's, the lobby there, if I had a pencil in my hand and I decided, you know what, while I'm waiting to get my driver's license and pay my my additional tax for little Mikey's, whatever, or whoever, some random, government elected officials, slush fund, allegedly, sitting there, I said, you know what, I'm going to sit there and write, a speech, writing my speech, the act of taking that pencil to paper, and, sitting there writing is not expressive. Once I actually take that speech and start reading that speech, that's when it becomes expressive. That's my First Amendment, and I'm expressing it. Now, a lot of people sit there and say, well, the First Amendment, the act of you video recording, that's not a civil right. I've seen some in the comments. I'm like, are you kidding me? Freedom of press. Me taking it and recording that government official, and then taking it and putting it on YouTube, for example, showing you what your government's doing, the negativity. So, and I'm not going to call it.
Remember, we went to the federal courthouse and they refused. First, we had to have a driver's license just to get in.
Yeah.
And then they refused to let us have our cameras. So remember, I was just going around scribbling, going, oh, that's a really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't have our camera. So I'm like, oh, let me see how fast I could draw everything.
Right.
Like, what the hell, bro?
I don't mean to pick on little Mikey, because it's not just him. And
go ahead.
As I uncover stuff, I'm definitely going to post it. So is he corrupt? Meh. We don't know.
No, he is. He is. He even said that day when we were there, and that girl with the baby who called me the N-word 20 times. Right. You had the body cam, and he's inside, and he's going, oh, they're out there recording some girl's baby. They're all a bunch of losers anyway. Like he just heard that, and because he doesn't like us, he just said it as if it was true to the police.
Well, I'm just saying, when I throw my hands up and I go like this, I do that because I was just talking about freedom of press, and that's the whole thing. I give it to you, the people, the viewer, and you decide. You get to see it. I mean, don't take my opinion. I try to be as neutral as I can. I know sometimes I can't, but I try to present it to you guys so you can see the body cams. I do cut out the fluff. Like if I'm sitting there staring at a wall, I'll cut the fluff out, but kind of like how Bat says it. BAT always says it. Hey, look, we got the receipts. If somebody says that I'm cutting something important out of the story, I'll upload the whole dang thing. It don't bother me.
The reason we don't upload the whole thing is because we'll lose audience. No one's going to sit there and wait for you to wait for them to wait for them to wait for them and wait 20 minutes. That's just not how YouTube works. And we want to get as many eyes on our activism as we can. So
absolutely,
let them say whatever they want.
Absolutely, and you can y'all can look this up on YouTube. But when you're making a video, when you're editing video, and it's the TikTok generation, the TikTok has ruined us, and those type of videos. But people have about an 8-second attention span. That's literally fact.
Like goldfish.
Right. They're like goldfish. And I'm just saying in general, that's the majority. So when you're editing, you have to constantly, here I am going into editing, but you have to constantly change that video about every 8 seconds. Zoom in, zoom out, change the different angles.
Jump cuts.
You have to keep people's attention. So if I
overlays.
Absolutely. So if I sat there and put the entire video, you would, just to touch on John's point, you would lose people. People wouldn't watch your story. And then you'd have these corrupt politicians. I'm not saying any particular, but look at my videos. You can see them, you would have these corrupt politicians getting away with stuff, or corrupt people, or cops, or whoever, So I don't mean to pick on politicians. It's kind of all government.
Oh yeah. So the first time, didn't they like rule against you the first time, or the first suit?
So, they did, and so the district court, the middle district court right now in federal court has been really rough with civil rights. They've been really they've been kind of lacking. So that's why I'm taking things. I've got 2 of them right now. I would have a third, but that first, the one that Mikey refers to, Patrick 1, the district court didn't go in my favor. I went to appeal it. And I, of course, like I said, I've told you guys from the beginning, I am not an attorney. I'm learning everything from scratch, just from my own research and whatever. And when I took it to the 11th Circuit, this was my first ever case to go to the appeals. And there's all kinds of new rules, and there's new, formats and this.
And they don't give you any leeway, do they?
Pro se, they give you a little bit of leeway. Pro se, they, for example, like this one with Little Mikey, one of the things that I told the 11th Circuit is one of my issues, if you watch my video, is they have to give, shouldn't say have to, but the precedent's been set that they give pro se candidates at least, and that's at least. So not just one time, but at least one time to amend. And they never did that in Little Mikey's, in this case with Little Mikey, for example. Anyway, what was I going to say? So the first,
they ruled against you. Now you're appealing,
right? So I'm appealing, but the first, I shouldn't even say first, but because it's not the first, it's just the previous case with Dade City, because that's how you should say it, because it's not the previous, because there was, because they're trying to sit there and say that it was the issue's already been resolved, but it's not. So the other case, okay. That I had with Lisa McGuire and all the other defendants there in that first, they call it Patrick 1. It went to the 11th Circuit, and I made a clerical error. It's called a certificate of interested parties. I forget the full title, but it's basically the certificate of interested parties. I failed to file it. They're supposed to, I believe the rule says, don't quote me, but I think the rule says that the clerk is supposed to give you 2 weeks to remedy it. I never got that. So I found out like, oh crap, I started reading through the rules. So I tried filing a motion to reinstate. And no matter how I would submit it, if you guys know anything about submitting court documents, it's all online. So I put it in one PDF file. So I'd put the motion to reinstate and the certificate of interested parties. I tried to put them in the same PDF file and send it. They didn't like that. So I sent them individually. They didn't like that. I tried sending them, this attached with, all these different variations, and they just for some reason didn't take it for whatever reason.
So that's what I forgot to mention earlier. On top of the full-time job, on top of the taking care of mom, on top of the gathering all the evidence, on top of all the editing and waiting and the patience and the organizational skills, she fights her own court battles too. Like, how can you do all this stuff? How?
You just do it. That's the see that. Let me tell you this, John. This is a little tidbit that my mother gave to me when I was a very, very young child. Okay. So she would tell me, and I forget how old I was, probably, 4, 5, 6, something like that. She told me, go out there and take out the trash. Seems simple, right? So I would sit there and complain like any child would, you know what I mean, with chores. Mom, I don't want to do it. My dog's got fleas. Well, I find every excuse in the book. So she sat there and told me some really great advice. She goes, the time that it takes to bitch about what you're complaining about, the time that it took me to bitch, I could have had the trash taken out and back to whatever activity that I was doing. So to me, it's like, just, I guess, what's his name? Larry the Cable Guy, just get her done. So, and that's how I do. That's how I do my task.
And you never get discouraged, huh?
Hell no. Because if I get this, that's, and we were talking a little earlier, a couple of days ago, I said, they will always continue to fight to take away your rights or find ways to take away your rights. So I have to constantly find ways to battle them and to keep my rights and say no. Yeah, it's a constant, like how they say, Confucius say, if you want to prepare, or was it prepare for war, or was it, if you want peace, prepare for war. That's what you have to do.
I thought as if you go through the turnstile sideways, you're going to Bangkok.
Confucius, very smart man.
So what do you think is going to happen with the appeal? Where does the appeal go to? Because I don't even, so you had to tell me just the court. I'm so scared of filing lawsuits and that stuff. So I didn't even know the first level was called district, and then the next. So it's district and then appeals.
Correct. So I'm
Okay.
in the 11th Circuit, and the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals takes care of Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. So if
And
they
that's
make
where
one,
Smith v. Cumming came from, right?
that's correct, because Georgia, Cumming is actually just north of Atlanta, Georgia. So it's actually a real city.
Mhm.
Hence why we hold up the signs that, it says,
I love Cumming.
Smith v, but the Smith's like real small and the Cummings this big. I mean, I think it was Mr. Jeff Gray came up with that one, I believe. Wasn't he the first one?
I don't know. He's awesome though.
I think he did the first one. But anyway, we don't need to sit there and reinvent the wheel. Just make it our own, right? But what were we on? Oh, so you have 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. That's where your case law came from with Smith v. Cumming. So right now, I believe, if I remember correctly, and quote me if I'm wrong, I believe it's a panel of 3 judges that look at it. I believe I may have a brain fart, but I think it's 3 judges. I'm sure somebody can comment about it. But anyway,
to me, if you're in front of 3 judges in the 11th Circuit Court and Smith v. Cumming comes up, that to me isn't that like case closed?
The 11th Circuit has actually. I'm looking at it very positively because I'm excited because the 11th Circuit has been very historically like pro Constitution, and I think that they know. I think little Mikey and his attorneys and everybody else in Pasco County, the government. I believe that they're worried because they do know that the 11th Circuit, and guess what? They mentioned Sheets v. Punta Gorda, and with the 11th Circuit, are they gonna mention it? Hopefully they'll mention it and they'll.
But Sheets versus Punta Gorda wasn't an 11th Circuit case; it was like a local case, no? Or is it 11th Circuit?
It was no. Well, I mean, it's the 11th Circuit Court of it. It's the 11th Circuit because it's in Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like this lower, it had to do with like an ordinance and stuff like that, and it had to do with a lower court decision. I mean,
and
it was
also,
such a small
if you read
court.
if you read the judge's comments in that case, she almost only talks about non-public forums. So
I mean, it has nothing to do with
Punta Gorda's garbage. That needs to be overturned.
And it will be eventually, and they know it. They know it's coming. They know it's going to, because I mean, like you said earlier, it just takes somebody to sit there and challenge it in court. I mean, because the court can't make a decision unless it's brought in front of them, right? I mean, the judge isn't going to just take it willy-nilly and say, you know what, I saw this case down in Florida, and I'm gonna go ahead and just make a ruling on it, even though it was never brought to their court. So it's got to be brought to them.
Yeah, it's not going to be a jury. It's going to be a 3-panel judge, like you're saying, right?
Right, it's gonna be the judges that make. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if you can have public comment, you can have juries and stuff like that if you want, if you elect to. But yeah, so what happened now? I did my reply brief, and I showed those. I think it was one of my last couple of videos. So then what they actually do is they send you a notice, and you actually have to print all that out. So you have to print out your briefs and your replies and everything else, your appendix. I think my appendix was like 130 pages.
If I had to do that, if I had to do any of that, my appendix would burst. But go on.
Well, then you have to print it all out, and you have to know all the formats and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty.
And the font size and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy that you. And the thing is, I believe that's set up on purpose so that it's not written in plain English and all that crap and all the formalities, so that the common man couldn't defend himself.
Now, yeah, but if you do happen to do it pro se, they do give you a little bit of leniency in some things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Obviously, like for example, the rule says that if you're as a pro se candidate, I only have to send in 1 copy of the appendix instead of 2, and like there's different things, like depending on in different situations where they do make it a little bit more. I mean, there's still a lot of rules. I mean, you're still going through and reading through all the pages to find all the pro, because there's always like little exceptions. Well, if you're pro se, then this. If So you got to be able to interpret it all and pick through it and pick it apart. I mean, it's not easy. So I'm
you
not
still
trying
have to have above average intelligence to do what you're doing. It's not like any layman could go in there and do that. Like,
I think if you took the time, I think that the average person could do it if they took
Really?
the time. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's not that impossible. Is it difficult? Absolutely, it's difficult. Luckily, there's so many. Or I shouldn't say luckily. That's not the right word to say. But luckily, I have enough experience because I've got all these cases. I don't want to say luckily because I'm not lucky to have my rights violated. But it has happened. In a way, it has happened so often that that I get opportunities more than just like the typical, like you're going to say, like the average person. If they get violated by the police, I mean, it's one case. So you see, I'm working on a case right now out of Miramar, Florida, for example, and this poor gentleman, had an issue. They actually took his daughter, used the Baker Act. I mean, if you're not familiar with the Baker Act, it's a very unfortunate act, and it needs to be repealed.
Absolutely.
I'm actually going to do a video. I'm going to add his story, and we're going to talk about the Baker Act, but it's, lack of a better word, it's bullshit.
Baker Act is basically a cop will ask you incriminating questions, and if you answer wrong, they'll just take you away for 3 days into a mental institution. Right?
For 72 hours. So for 72 hours, they've got a hold of you, and there's nothing you can do.
Right.
And there's no warrants. There's no nothing.
Yeah, there's no due process.
And guess what? If you get arrested and go to jail, you have 24 hours. You have to see a judge, right?
Right.
This is 72 hours. And at the end of that 72 hours, doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting out.
It depends on what the doctor has to say.
Yeah,
I had a cook working for me, and he went to the hospital or something, and they always ask you these questions like, do you want to hurt yourself or others or blah blah blah. And he made a joke. He said, well, I have my list. Ha ha ha. They Baker acted his ass for 72 hours.
Yeah, and they can just make up whatever, and it's legal apparently.
Guys, rule number 1: record everything. Rule number 2: I don't answer questions. All right.
No, but yeah.
Moving forward.
I mean, obviously it's different because when you guys watch the video, I mean, I've gone through it so many times. John's gone through it so many times. All these other people that not all of them, but a lot of your bigger names have gone through it so many times that we kind of know how to answer these questions and how to do the verbal judo,
Yeah, but for the average person, I should qualify that. For the average person, man, don't answer questions unless like you're not as seasoned like us. Like you haven't been an activist for 20 years, like I have. We know what to answer and what not to answer. So
absolutely,
your best bet is I don't answer questions, or I respectfully decline to answer any questions without my attorney present.
Right. And you know what I want to sit there and say? It's like, I would love to get an apology from some of these people who have violated my rights. More than anything, that would be a very good start. That would be a very good start. Hey, I apologize. But all they do is they double down and try to drag you through the system to try to get any kind of justice. But when you have qualified immunity, I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, you could just about, I mean, I don't even want to get into prosecutorial or the prosecutors and the judges, their qualified immunity.
Oh my God, that's almost impossible to get a judge.
I mean, oh my gosh,
that would be the most epic thing in the world if we could take down a corrupt judge.
Oh,
you know what? That's funny you say that because tomorrow I think I'm having Tabo and Ray. I don't know if you know who that is, the guy with the monkey who got pulled over for following too close.
Oh yeah. I did see that.
He's doing exactly what you're doing, pro se, and he literally, I think he got a judge unseated, but that's tomorrow. But
wow,
what can happen if you lose this case?
I mean, this particular, you talking about the one with Mikey?
Yeah.
So they actually want sanctions. Now, whether or not the judges, it could go against me, the 11th Circuit, and 2, they may or may not, give them the sanctions. I drink a lot of Liquid Death, so it's got a lot of carbonation. So,
What sanctions on who? You?
Yeah, sanctions on me.
What does that mean? Fines? What does that mean?
Basically, yeah. I mean, so basically, it's kind of like, you pay the attorney's fees and other things, and I understand what it's for, but in this case, for Mikey's, for both the district and the appeals court, they're literally, what they're trying to do is they're trying to take, because they hate auditors, right? They hate auditors. So they're trying to sit there and impose these sanctions, these attorney's fees and stuff as a punishment to sit there and scare people out of their rights. That's what they're doing.
To scare them into fighting back.
Right. That way they're like, oh crap, J-Town got a $5,000, sanctions because she tried to go fight for her civil rights. They're trying to sit there and scare people. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me, you know what I mean? But that's just the way I see it. What else would they be doing that for? Because little Mikey doesn't want his policy to be
overturned.
Overturned. He doesn't want his policy to be removed because he wants to sit there and, keep you from checking on him. I mean, that's freedom of press. Freedom of press, like this. I always say, John, your Second Amendment, everybody thinks it's for hunting, for killing a deer or whatever. No, it's so you can sit there and fight back against a tyrannical government. Well, free speech has nothing to do with me saying the F word or any other swear words. Has nothing to do with that. It's so I can speak ill against corrupt politicians in my government.
Which is the most American thing you can do.
Absolutely. So freedom of press is so I can sit there and report and show we the people what is going on in our government, specifically government, not so I can sit there and show some robbery at some Quickie Mart on the side of the road or some, somebody getting murdered or somebody, whatever random citizen. It's specifically for government.
All right. So we're running up against the hour. It's starting to lightning here. Do you in the next 3 minutes, let's just sum it up. Do you have any other cases going?
I do. And I'm actually working on a video right now, literally today. My Mertz case was my very first case. So I'm not going to talk too much about that one. Okay. I'm actually going to do like a big collaboration of like all 3 videos that I've done. It was back in, I forget now, 2023, I think it was. I forget now. But anyway, and they made a ruling on that one in the district court. And I'm going to go over why I made the decision that I did with it. Oh, cute puppy pig.
He's so scared of the light. He's scared of the thunder.
I've got my Duval County police case. That's in the 11th Circuit. So I'm waiting on a decision there. That's the one that you were just talking about that said, that, or actually something similar. We were talking about the Pasco one in Land O'Lakes, but they tried getting me to sit down inside the school board meeting. The school board members didn't have any issue. I mean, well, they didn't even have time. I think it was like, if I remember correctly, it was like 20 seconds. And they were on top of me saying that I had to sit down and I had to go talk to some media coordinator. So that one I'm waiting for a decision from the 11th Circuit. I mean, it could be up to a year. I mean, you guys are literally
3 cases?
Well, I've got 2 right now in the 11th Circuit. That third one, remember I told you about the third one and what happened with that one. Let's see, what other cases do I have? I've got one there in South Georgia. Do y'all remember the felony arrest?
At the jail, right?
Yep, at the jail. That was I think one of my biggest live streams, or when I first started my channel. Russell and I, Georgia Transparency, got arrested there in a public area. And I even told Russell, I was like, damn, Russell, I was like, the Google car made it through the parking lot further than we did.
Right.
That makes sense. But anyway, that one actually is on a motion to stay. The judge granted it pending the criminal charges. We had a meeting between the attorneys and myself, and they even agreed upon that. Here it is. I forget exactly when we did the meeting, but I think it was close to 3 years or something like that, give or take. And we had said, here it is, almost 3 years, and they have yet to indict me for the charges. So they are showing zero interest in prosecuting me, but I get why the judge did the motion to stay. I mean, so come November, hopefully we can get that case started back up when the statute of limitations runs out. Let's see, what other case do I have? I have the one there in Lafayette. If y'all remember the health department with the porn stash, he told me that I was, because, I was exercising my rights, that I was lower. I forget what it was.
I remember that was the right around the first Audit Palooza. You even played the video there. Lower than scum
or something like that. So anyway, I've actually filed the complaint in that one, and I've submitted the summons, and I'm literally and that was months ago, and or something like that, I forget, but it's been a while. I submitted the summons, and I'm just waiting for the court to send the summons back to me so I can serve these people. So that one's kind of at a stalemate right now. The one with Louis, remember the hair pull?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Oh yeah, you got attacked outside of you were on the phone with 911.
I was on the phone with 911. He just attacked me. And the police
he
did
was
absolutely
just
nothing.
a security guard, right?
Yes, he was. Well, he was a county employee, but he's a security guard. And
right before that, he told Russell he was going to shoot him.
Well, I think he said, if I pull out my gun, I'm going to shoot you. Like, that's what he said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if I'm correctly, I may be paraphrasing,
like
maybe verbatim.
We know what the hell that means.
Right. So, anyway, I should have a conclusion for that one, hopefully soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other ones that I've had. I'm filing some other ones here soon. And
have you won anything yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't had anything. You know, like I said, I'm learning, and like I tell everybody, I am not a trained attorney.
Of
and
course.
not even if you were a trained attorney, but attorneys don't even win all their cases. Most of these attorneys only win like a fraction of what they actually bring to court.
Right.
So don't sit. People are sitting there giving me crap because I haven't won anything, but it's like, these things take years.
It's hard, man.
It is. I'm learning.
You're unbelievably awesome. I can't believe how you juggle all this stuff. It must be you just wake up and you start editing. You wake up and you start filing.
Right.
You jump. As a matter of fact, at Autopalooza, you jumped out of bed and you started gobbling with the turkeys. So I wanted to smack you that day. But anyway.
I woke you up that day.
You absolutely did. I'm like, who the hell is talking?
Peeking through the blinds, like, who the hell is up there gobbling?
I'm like this, and I hear, and then all the turkeys respond, and then you got tickled because they responded to you, and then that went on for 20 minutes, and I'm like, I'm gonna go strangle her.
Yeah, I'm like, yay! I don't know.
All right, Lana.
To me, it's simple pleasures. I mean, life's so short. It's not. To me, life's so short to not sit there and enjoy every minute of it, And
guys, it's only been 3 or 4 years. She's done so much. She does so much, and she remains positive through all of it.
Absolutely.
While her freedom and rights are stripped and everything. If you're going to follow anyone, donate to anyone, right there, J-Town Press.
I appreciate it.
Say something in closing, and thank you so much for doing the live stream.
Absolutely. And I'll leave y'all with the parting words. And until next time, let's keep letting freedom ring.
Thank you, Lana.
Absolutely. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the support, your love and support. I appreciate you sticking through, through all the 4 years, or almost 4 years now. I appreciate you guys continuing to watch my videos and support me. All the comments, the emails. I try to get to everybody, but I just so much so much appreciation. I'm just so thankful. So thank you, John, for having me on.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
See you
always.
Soon. See you
Absolutely.
Soon.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. It's lightning and thunder outside. Before this gets cut off, I'm just going to cut it off. There you go. Like, people think I'm like this great person, or people have called me the Godfather. Dude, I'm nothing compared to people like her, like Jeff Gray, like Bay Area Transparency is supposed to come on this month too. I'm turning 50 this month. I'm trying to get as many people as I can. Someone said no name coder wants to come up. No name coder, man, call me. Michael Eline should be one of the guests this month. I got Bay Area Transparency coming up. I messaged Lackluster and Sean. They're busy. I understand if they don't want to come up. I get it. Who was it? Damn, I just forgot. I just had a brain fart. Oh, Tabo and Ray. If you don't remember, Lackluster covered his video. He fled the hurricane in Florida, went up to South Carolina. On his way back, he went through the corrupt state of Georgia, and there's these two inbred cops who use following too close. They lie about it, and they use it as an arrestable offense. And they did that to him, and I guess it's a felony or something. North Olmsted. Hello. Yeah. Goodbye. So yeah. So Tabo and Ray tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe No Name Coder, Michael Eline, come on up. Bay Area coming soon this month. Some other people. some other people I'd like to have on. And yeah, because John might be off of this platform here by the end of this month, man. I think if my background check and everything goes through, I think I'm going to have a full-time job, and it's going to take up most of my day. And the job isn't really this friendly to this type of thing. Tyrant Terminator, I'd love to have him on. That's a good idea. Anybody knows these people, man, have them email me, johnfelix@gmail.com. So, yeah. All right, everybody. Before the lightning takes me out, I'm going to take myself out. Thank you so much for joining me. Subscribe to the J-Town Press if you haven't already. Share her videos. Look how much work she's doing. If we could get 1 million people in this country to do what she does and to have the skills that she does, we'd win our independence back, honestly. All right, everyone. Have a good night, man. Thank you so much. Bye.